When a city holds its breath, what does that sound like? Is it silence? Or is it the ghost of 100,000 whispers, all praying for the same thing and for the exact opposite? That was Valencia last night.
That's a powerful way to put it, Joe, because the Derby del Turia is never just a game. It's a civil war played out on 105 meters of grass. And this time, it felt less like a battle for glory and more like a desperate fight for survival.
Exactly. Let's paint the picture for our listeners. This isn't your glamour tie, your El Clasico. This is something far more raw. You have two clubs from the same city, Valencia CF and Levante UD, both staring into the abyss of relegation. Before kickoff, Valencia was hovering just above the drop zone in 17th, with Levante trapped right below them in 19th.
And the context is brutal. Valencia, the historic giant, came into this on a 7-game winless streak, 4 straight games at their fortress, Mestalla, without a victory. The fans were frustrated, the pressure on manager Carlos Corberán was immense. This was a club caught in a repeating cycle of crisis.
Meanwhile, Levante, the historically smaller club, saw their chance. They arrived with a bit of confidence after a recent win moved them away from the very bottom of the table. Their plan was clear: exploit the emotional turmoil of their bigger brother. This was the first derby in 3 years, and the tension was palpable.
So, the stage is set, a cauldron of fear and hope at Mestalla. And for 75 minutes, it was a war of attrition. Chances were traded, nerves were frayed, but the scoreboard remained stubbornly locked at 0-0. And then, it happened.
The 76th minute, a breakthrough, a moment of relief that the home fans had been praying for. Hugo Duro, the Valencia forward, finds the back of the net. Mestalla erupts. A single goal to decide a rivalry, to decide a city's mood for the week. The final score, Valencia 1, Levante 0.
It's so much more than just the goal, isn't it? To really understand the emotion, you have to focus on the man standing in the Levante goal, Mathew Ryan, a former Valencia keeper. For most of the match, he was the ghost haunting his old club, making crucial saves, particularly one against Lucas Beltran early on. It felt like a classic narrative was building, the spurned player coming back to deny his former team their salvation.
That's the human drama right there. Every time Valencia pushed forward, there he was, a painful reminder of a different era. You could feel the collective anxiety in the stadium. It felt like one of those nights where, despite all the effort, the ball simply wouldn't go in. Valencia started the match with incredible energy, attacking from the first minute, but Ryan and the Levante defense held firm.
And that's what makes Hugo Duro's goal so significant. It wasn't just a goal, it was an exorcism. It broke the deadlock, it beat their former keeper, and it shattered that dreadful winless streak. For that one moment, all the internal strife, like the recent public complaints from their other goalkeeper, Stola Dmitrievski, it all just vanished, replaced by pure, unadulterated relief.
Let's dig into that, because the analysis here is crucial. What does this 1-0 win actually mean? For Valencia, it's a gasp of air when they were drowning. It temporarily saves Corberán's job and pushes them slightly away from that terrifying red line. But Jane, is it a genuine turning point or just papering over the cracks?
That is the million-dollar question. I'm skeptical. One goal at home in a derby where you are historically dominant doesn't solve the deep-rooted issues at the club. Let's not forget the history here. Levante has never won a La Liga match at Mestalla. So, in a way, Valencia just did what was expected of them, what they've always done. It was a desperate, gritty win, not a sign of a tactical masterclass or a sudden return to form.
I see your point. The historical weight was entirely on their side. We're talking about a record of 16 or 17 unbeaten home matches against Levante. So while the victory is vital for morale, it's not proof that the cycle of mediocrity is broken. For Levante, though, this is just pure heartbreak. They executed their game plan almost perfectly. They weathered the storm, frustrated their rivals, and were minutes away from a precious point on the road.
Absolutely. And to lose on a single late goal in the derby, that's a psychological blow that will sting far more than a routine loss. They remain deep in the relegation mire, and now they have to watch their city rivals celebrate a victory that came at their direct expense. The cruelty of football, encapsulated in 90 minutes.
Let's ask the what if then. What if Duro doesn't score? What if it ends 0-0? The headlines are completely different. Valencia's crisis deepens. Fortress Mestalla crumbles. Corberán is likely out of a job by Christmas. That's how fine the margins are at this level. A single moment of execution separates redemption from ruin.
And it amplifies the most beautiful and tragic part of a local derby. It isn't about the league table for the fans, not really. It's about the city. It's about walking into work on Monday and holding your head high. This game was unique because for the first time in a while, the stakes were just as high on the pitch as they were in the streets. Survival. Only 2 active players on either side, Jose Gaya for Valencia and Jose Morales for Levante, had even tasted victory in this derby before. That tells you everything about the turnover and instability at both clubs.
So, as the floodlights dimmed at Mestalla, one half of Valencia breathed a collective sigh of relief, while the other was left to contemplate a long, hard winter. The giant, Valencia, didn't exactly roar back to life, but it stirred. It found a heartbeat.
It did. It was a win born of desperation, not brilliant. But in a relegation scrap, the 3 points all count the same. The bigger story, though, is how this city, which has seen both its clubs reach incredible highs in the past, now finds itself locked in a struggle at the bottom. The Derby del Turia used to be a showcase. Now it's a dogfight, and it's utterly captivating.
A city of fallen giants, indeed, and the fight to rise again has only just begun.
This podcast combines verified reports with expert analysis and narrative storytelling. Some dialogues may be dramatized for clarity, but all facts are sourced from credible media.